knows what she's inwardly gone through, she might be able to return to it more readily than someone who doesn't know that. So that maintaining is very significant. And with it, there has to be some collective process that goes on that allows her to conserve in some way what it is she's reached. Because if it's only a glimpse and it's goodbye, Charlie, then you have nothing for your trip. You want to in some way be in a state where you can maintain it, conserve it. Right? That's what you need. Right? Now, that also means, does it not, that for each of these stages, for the stages themselves, there has to be some kind of a structure that holds them in place and maintains those levels the way they are. Not just that you've reached it, that Pat reached it, but they're there to be reached and can be ordered in that way. And in reaching them, there's certain consequences that follow from it. Because if she only took a glimpse of it and couldn't maintain that state for any length of time, disillusionment is likely to take over. Right? If she couldn't conserve anything that she has seen while there, it would have little benefit. So, equally well now, these stages in themselves must have that capacity, condition. Now, you know, what's interesting about this is that without one more element, there wouldn't be much purpose in going through it at all. Now, we're going to put a name on this. We need a name. So I'll use an old name. Right? This is called, there's a necessary protective force in the nature of reality. Because it protects the structure, maintains each stage the way it is, allows the possibility of some conservation going on through it all, from which you can then, from that, have something to bring back and to be changed by it. Because if you don't have anything that you can take back, or with you, or because of it have, that has any enduring feature, there's no point in the glimpse at all. So therefore, built into this must be that possibility of conserving. Now, to maintain and conserve is to defend. All right? That's defending. And in that sense, it's a protective. So that's how I'm using the word. Now, well, none of this would be of any consequence if there wasn't yet another reason we need this. Because unless there was something built into this, necessarily, that suggests at any level experienced, there is something that necessarily built behind it is a dynamic that allows, permits, provides the condition for perfection. And therefore, that protection, that perfection means that the structure remains as it is, remains in place, and notice what it does. It remains in place. In that sense, it's preserving a structure which has this potential of emerging higher, right? Therefore, it preserves a structure that is dynamic. Why dynamic? Because it has the capacity to pull one through it. And it's not only dynamic, but it's arranged hierarchically, because perfection means hierarchical necessarily. Therefore, the nature of reality must be a hierarchically multi-leveled structure which can reveal itself in the course of the spiritual exploration of man. And from that we can then find these 5 principles which are built into the very structure of our reality, which we're calling the conditions. So therefore, by looking at these stages and considering someone going for the ride, right, the spiritual ride of enlightenment, we can say we can now point out these conditions necessary for this to be at all. Those are the conditions. Now, can we not say that it's likely that what we've said would also fit Charlie and George, east and west, north and south? Would it even follow for someone who comes from Brooklyn? That's the final test. Right? All right, look here. For that to be in place gives another kind of a very interesting problem. We need something else. We need something else in this. And I think you may see it implicit in this, but I'd like to see whether we can make it explicit. And therefore you have to do some work. Luckily enough, I brought it. And luckily enough, it's only a couple of sentences. Now, I apologize for the fact that I don't have clean copies. They're kind of marked up by my marks. But what we're going to look at is a couple of propositions from Proclus, and we're going to spend some time on 143. It's one of my favorites. So don't look at it right away, because we're going to go to 142 first. Now, okay, once you get one set going, hold it for a moment and then pass the next. This means, therefore, the condition for enlightenment is pervasive and continuous. Right? That's what this is saying. Because once we say it's true for reality, then the condition for enlightenment is pervasive, continuous, not here and there. All right? Now, we call this conditions. Proclus calls it principles. Right? These are the principles of the nature of theology.